You are listening to the Bright Life Podcast, all about ways to stay inspired, chase your dreams, and find more gratitude in the highs and lows of the journey. I'm your host, Jessica Johnson. I'm a business owner, a part-time digital nomad, a self-growth junkie, a believer in other big-hearted women, and am all about sharing tips, tricks, lessons learned, and encouragement so we can all live our biggest, brightest lives. You ready? Let's do this. Hey gorgeous, welcome back to the Bright Life Podcast. This week, I wanted to share with you 3 of my favorite manifestation techniques that are completely free to support you in bringing your dreams to life faster. Now, if manifestation is one of those words that sounds a little out there, I want to help you with a more practical explanation of what I think is happening at a very tangible, real life level. So whenever you start to put yourself more into the energy of your dream coming true, where you're feeling all the feelings of it, and you feel like it's on its way to you, whether it's the love of your life, your dream health, your success, whatever your dream is, you get into the feeling state of that all the time. And I think it helps your brain to filter for the opportunities and the people and the places and situations that are going to make you more of a match for that thing and present to you more opportunities for that thing that you dream of. So for example, if you can put yourself into the feeling of your love coming true, then naturally, if you're feeling that state all the time, you're going to be in such a good feeling. You're going to maybe smile more. You're going to be more open to someone asking you out on a date. You're going to maybe take that date and expect the best that can come from it. And that all leads to a very different outcome than if you're in this feeling of this will never work. Why should I even bother? Everyone has bad intentions out there. That's going to make you not even want to go on a date to begin with, and it's going to lead to a very different path, right? So it can be so subtle, but even just changing how you feel about something starts to change the actions that you are open to, that you take, and therefore the results that you get. Now, what I'm not saying is that it's all on you if your dream hasn't come to you yet. Obviously, there's more at play, right? You can do everything on your side and your part to bring a dream to life. But at some point, it does take life meeting you with the people and situations that can help support that dream come into being. So not trying to make you feel bad either way, but more just showing ways you can amplify your part of this creation process. And so I want to share a few ways that I've done that you may love as well. One of the first places where I practiced this, and I've shared this story before, maybe you've heard, but it was when I was manifesting the dream of getting to New York City in my 20s. And I became this living, breathing feeling of living in New York City without even really knowing what I was doing. So I would go throughout my day listening to songs all about New York. I used to play Jay-Z and Alicia Keys' Empire State of Mind before interviews with these New York City executives over the phone and video, and just get into the feeling of I know this is going to be the job. I know this is the one. I had photos everywhere. Every password I typed related to New York City. And so for me, I just fell asleep feeling like I was already basically in Manhattan. I could picture myself walking down those streets in the fall, bundled up in layers on tree-lined avenues with groceries going up my walk-up of my apartment. And that is what eventually came to be. And I know for sure it was also the actions I was taking of applying and gaining experience and presenting myself in interviews the right way. But then I also do truly believe that it was those feelings that I was creating that helped put me into the place where I could keep applying when it was hard, where I could keep the faith, where I believed it was possible, even though I didn't know any connection there. And so what I want to share with you are a few of my favorite practices that I use for any dream. It wasn't just New York that I did this for. I use them now. I used them to even, I feel like, call in my dream, like relationship. I was still doing these same things then to just put myself into the feeling of, I know this is possible. I know this will come for me one day. You know, I've done it for business goals, for financial goals. And so here's a few of them that I use all the time. And if you know what my goal is, throughout the different seasons of my life, then you can probably pinpoint like what I'm listening to, what I'm typing in my passwords, what photos I have around me, and all the techniques that I'll share with you today. Okay, so the first one, this is so simple, as I mentioned. So let's start with one of the easiest ones that you could do in like 5 minutes is I typically change all my passwords to whatever my dream is at the moment. So I'll do a combination. If I'm like manifesting a dream place to live, I will maybe do some combination of that place, numbers, symbols, things like that. Not trying to give away all my secrets or passwords here, but just to give you examples. If it's a dream for like a financial goal in your business, you could do the amount and, dollar signs, or obviously mix in a few numbers for letters, things like that, so it still stays secure. But if it's like a dream health, you could do something like, let's say it's a health goal of gaining 10 pounds of muscle. You could make some password related to that. That's a good combo of like numbers and words. So the thing I love about that is you are typing in passwords so many times throughout your day. You have your computer, you have your, banking platforms, you have all of the different accounts that you use through work or through your own personal life. And so that's a good chance for like 10 or 20 times a day to be thinking of your dream and giving you that little zing of like, this is on its way. I just know it. And that's really the vibe you're going for. You don't want to be typing them in every time being like, this is never coming, right? Like another reminder of how far away it is. That is a completely different energy to put yourself into than something like, every time you type this into your computer or you log in, you're like, I know this is on its way to me. I'm so excited. I can't wait for this to be real. I can't wait for the day when I type this in and it's a real thing. Like maybe you can even hear in my voice, I smile when I say things like that versus the feeling that I was describing where you're like, this will never work. This isn't happening. How far away is this? It's like such a different energy, and it's going to put you into a different state of like the actions you want to take. And as I mentioned, therefore the results you want to get. So that's the first one. That's so free, so simple, takes a few minutes, but go and change some of your passwords to your dream. It also helps you clarify what your dream is. So maybe if you're listening, you're like, I know for sure what I'm going for. But if you don't, as Oprah says, the hard part is a lot of people don't know what they want. And that's why they don't get what they want. So if you don't even know what your password would be, that might even be your first step, is to get clear on what's that dream that you want to call in. And if so, then you can choose your password accordingly. The next one that I love and swear by is making a playlist for your dream. So as I mentioned, this is so cheesy, but like I've literally done this for like the love of my life. I had gone through a few breakups in my 20s and I was so heartbroken. And so I thought, you know what? I am not going to be feeling this heartbroken feeling forever. I'm going to make a playlist of love songs that make me feel how I want to feel. And I'm going to listen to it in the car on my commute. And I swear to you, it did shift something for me, because instead of just feeling frustrated by, the dates of your 20s and like different relationships that come and go, and it's just so volatile oftentimes, it really put me into this place of like, this is how I'm going to feel in a much better, more uplifting way. This is the relationship that is coming one day. Like, this is how love will feel to me. And because I had this commute that was like 45 minutes each way, and I was listening to these songs on repeat, so that makes like over an hour every day, I truly, truly think it started to shift things, and like I mentioned, on a practical level, it could just be that it makes you feel better, more hopeful, you have more positive expectations of things, you're more like, well, if I believe that my love is coming, of course, why not go on this date? I'm sure it's going to work out better, right? Versus like, what's the point anymore? I'll just stay over here in my apartment and don't even bother to go out. So that's something I've used to manifest like a beautiful relationship and love, which I really feel like I have now and came about right around that same time. So you never know how things will work for you if that's what you're working on. If it's something else, like let's say you have a health goal that you're working for and you're like, I'm really trying to feel my best, but I'm having a hard time implementing these healthy habits and believing that I am strong and fit and athletic. Okay, like let's play with the power of music to get you into a better headspace. So Make a playlist that makes you feel strong, like empowered, that makes you want to move. We all know the difference between listening to a song that makes us want to run and move on a treadmill versus one where you're like, is this workout done? So make a playlist that makes you feel so strong and beautiful and empowered and confident. And that will just put you into a different place for your health goals. That will make you feel like when you walk into that gym, you've got this, like you've been listening to and embodying this for hours already, like throughout your week. Of course, you're going to walk in and crush your workout and feel like you belong there. So it's just a subtle thing. I hope I'm articulating it okay because it is subtle, but it does make such a difference. If you have a goal in business, you could do the same thing. Like when I have been manifesting some new level of abundance or something like that, I'll make a playlist that is like songs that make me feel really empowered and successful and free and like wealthy, like just things that make you feel abundant, right? Like you can do Fergie's Glamorous. That's a fun song. Or you can do, I'm trying to think of the ones I've used. For me, it's not always even just like a money thing. It's because it's always a feeling, right? Like that's what you're really after whenever you want something in life. So for me, sometimes, yes, you're looking for abundance or you're looking for some new level in business, but what you're really seeking is freedom or feeling like successful, feeling proud, feeling like capable. And so that's the kind of playlist that you make because then it gives you the feelings that you're after through the outcome anyway, So playlist is a big one. I'll just make one on Spotify and then listen to it on repeat. And you want those feelings of the songs to be something that really like gives you this little burst of energy. So if you're getting tired of the songs or you're like, I'll put it on my playlist, but it doesn't do anything for me, it's not going to help you as much as one that's like every time you listen, you just get chills or you get, tears or you just get this feeling of like, yes, like this is so right for me. Okay, so playlists. And then the third one that I'll give you that's completely free, and you can do it at whatever scale you want, is photos. So put things in your environment that remind you of the dream that you are building. So this could be a wallpaper on your phone. I will often do a wallpaper on my computer, like desktop wallpaper. You could do a vision board, like you could go to a site like canva.com and make a vision board. They have templates, or you can just pull and drag and drop images into your own. You could do an old-fashioned like magazine cutout version. There's so many different ways. You could even just hang photos around your place or put a photo by your bedside or on your desk. The point again being that when you see it, you get that feeling of this is on its way to me. I know it is. And that puts you into this state of then being willing to go and take the actions, to show up differently, to believe it's possible for you, to feel more worthy. And then your whole life starts to shift as a result. And it feels like magic, or it feels like serendipities or luck, but you know where it began. It always begins with you starting to shift the beliefs that you have, and therefore the emotions you feel, the actions you take, and thus the results you get. So those are 3 of my favorite manifestation techniques that are completely free that I hope you love, because there's so much more I think we have to understand about this stuff, energy, quantum physics, etc. But all I know is I use it for every dream I have, and it usually feels like it's a matter of time until it comes into form. And so I hope that you have the same experience. If this is fun to you, I do have a brand new masterclass this month all about embodying and manifesting. And so these are just a few of the things I share in there, but there's so much more. So if you want to go deeper, you get a whole bundle of training videos, workbooks, journal prompts, everything I've learned about embodying and manifesting. And I talk to you in video through just bite-sized videos to really break it down for you and give you some fun practices to use yourself to bring your dream to life. It's chapter 3 of my book, Your Bright Life, Embodying, Manifesting. And so I just thought it'd be fun to go a little deeper than what you can do just on a written page and make it a whole like workshop training series masterclass bundle. So that is available. I will link it in the show notes if you're interested. But otherwise, try these out and just have fun with them. There's no rush to it. You can't predict the timeline, but you can start feeling better even today, just trying them out and starting to put yourself into a different feeling, and therefore creating the domino cascade that follows of your actions and your results and your life becoming different. So I hope you love it, and thank you so much for being here. I will see you again next week. Thank you so much for listening in. If you love this episode, there are 2 things that would be so helpful to me and this podcast. One, if you haven't yet, is to leave a review. These take less than a minute, but help get this podcast into the ears of more listeners and women it can uplift. Or if you've already left a review, share this episode on Instagram and tag me at @HiJessicaJohnson so I can personally thank you and reshare. Thank you for being here, and I will see you again next week.